Magandang umaga, Malacañang Press Corps. Welcome sa Mindanao Hour, Bangon Marawi with Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. On behalf of AFP spokesperson Padilla, we're happy to inform the public of the President's successful fifth visit to our troops in Marawi. The troops are once again energized to finish the fight and to liberate Marawi at the soonest possible time. The Commander-in-Chief also announced that he will lift martial law in Mindanao as soon as the clearing operations are done and the city is fully liberated. This was the first time it was covered by media, an indication of the continuously improving conditions on the ground. Likewise, a few updates. I think it would be best if we just went into the cash donations. As of 12/50/20 September 2017, here are the status of the cash donations. Marawi AFP casualty, 81,060,578.23 centavos, and Marawi IDPs, 993,340.21. To give us an update on Bangon Marawi, we have the Office of Civil Defense Chief of Public Affairs Office and Spokesperson, Romina Marasigan. Ladies and gentlemen of the Malacañang Press Corps, let us all give Ms. Marasigan a warm welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Malacañang Press Corps. For the latest activities of Task Force Bangon Marawi, here are the updates. On Wednesday, September 20, Task Force Chair and National Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana presided an executive committee meeting attended by all the subcommittees and support groups, and they presented the latest activities by each of the subcommittee and all the initiatives on rehabilitation and recovery. In housing, the transitional shelters site development is still ongoing. The Department of Public Works and Highways have completed the access roads in the transitional shelter site. Through our Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, the units which will be used for the transitional shelters, which in consultation with our stakeholders and our IDPs, they have chosen a steel wall sandwich model. This is a prefabricated house, which is single detached with toilet and bath. And they're also having a 22 square meters area, but the lot area would be 54 square meters. Also, in the transitional shelter site, not only houses will be built, there will be common facilities which shall be built as well. We will have mosques, madrasa, outposts, livelihood centers, recreational facilities, and police and barangay outposts. The coordination with the local water utilities administration is still ongoing to identify the water source for the said site. On business and livelihood, our IDPs will have a chance to showcase their products at the Noel Bazaar. This is a Christmas expo which will be held at the World Trade Center. A Bangon Marawi pavilion shall be put up during the fair dates of November 16 to 19 and November 24 to 30. The Department of Trade and Industry will be assisting our IDPs in the presentations of their packaging, labeling of all of their products. Also, the DTI will provide sewing machines for our IDPs so that they could use them for clothing production. On health services, more than 1,265 IDPs availed of the free medical and dental services, which was held at the Santa Elena Evacuation Center in Iligan City and led by the Department of Health. Medicines were provided to the IDPs based on after the results of the consultations that they have undergone. On mental health and psychosocial support, an expressive art therapy was conducted for the IDPs, especially for children. This is a chance where the children would come up and actually have drawings. Some would actually be dancing, singing. So these are art activities which is part of our ongoing psychosocial interventions. And also, we have coordinated with our Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process. It's going to be a celebration of the closing of the National Peace Consciousness Month, and this will be done on October 1st. They will be doing this in Iligan City and have invited our IDPs to showcase on this date their products. And we are enjoining all our citizens, all our Filipino brothers and sisters, come visit Iligan City. This will be a chance to help our IDPs. They will be showcasing their products, they will be showcasing their produce, and we could actually support the IDPs by buying these products come October 1. This will be done in the City Plaza of Iligan City. And that will be all from the Task Force Bangon Marawi. Thank you.
Thank you. We're open to a few questions.
Question about Bangon Marawi first. Joseph Moro. Thank you.
The way you discuss yung pong temporary shelters, no, this looks like you're going to build a parang mini city, no? When will this start to rise, and for how long will they be staying in that area? And where is this again? Sorry.
Okay. Yung sa Transitional Sana, that's Barangay Sagunsongon. And this area, the reason kung bakit ginagawa na tayo, parang city na siya, no? Parang development na ito na isang komunidad, because inaasahan natin, it will still take a lot of, initially, no? Sa initial pa lang naman na discussions to, kasi hindi pa tapos ang ating assessment, mga around 2-3 years, kasi tinitignan natin yung sabi nga ni ating butihing Secretary Lorenzana, hindi tayo magre-repair, magre-rebuild talaga tayo in Marawi City. So nagbubuo tayo ng community kasi itong inaasahan natin, yung kailangan may feeling yung ating IDPs, yung community building ulit, yung pagbabalik sa community and may semblance of normalcy in the transitional shelters. So meron din tayo ng mga iba pang facilities, no, para dun sa ating transitional shelter site. Yun yung kaya yung tinitingnan nila dun sa area.
How far is this from the city proper?
Okay, if we're from the ground zero and to the transitional shelter site, this is approximately 3.6 kilometers.
In the 2 to 3 years, that's the duration
For
where
the
they're going to
Marawi
stay.
City rebuilding.
Oh, okay.
So kaya yung inaasahan natin, kung nagpumili na magstay sa transitional shelter, mga around those time, kasi yun yung nakita natin initially pa lang, na it will take around 2 to 3 years to rebuild the entire Marawi City.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, questions? Pia Ranyada, to be followed by Laila. No, Bangon Marawi first. Laila?
Okay.
Good morning. Ma'am, how many transitional shelter sites are we planning to build, and how much is the budget for these?
Okay. For the transitional shelter site, we have only a program or the initial budgets for this. This is approximately 160,000 per unit. We are per unit. We are looking into this unit, initially 1,100 shelters for the initial 10-hectare land that was approved already for the transitional site. But we are looking into doing a 14-hectare site, which will be probably around 1,500 units.
Ma'am, are these enough for the displaced residents? Because there are over 200,000, if I remember
Okay,
correctly.
this is an initial, and this is only transitional sites. Remember, hindi po ito para lang sa transitional shelters. We have permanent shelter housing as well. So hindi lang ito yung pinaplano natin na housing. And there are also other areas that we are discussing with our local government on other areas pa na pwede natin pagtayuan na ating sites. Meron na tayong iba pa, no, na other ilang hectares din ng land, like with the discussion with the Mindanao State University. Meron din tayong tinitignan na area dyan. Hindi pa natin nakikita kung gaano talaga in total. Ito, initial pa lamang ito. Habang hindi pa naman po tapos, no, yung ating conflict in Marawi City, tinitingnan na natin na yung initial na pwede natin gawin, magbibuild na tayo.
Thank you.
Okay, Rose Tuvenario.
Ay, good morning, ma'am.
good morning.
Ano po yung, kasi sabi nyo kanina, mga hanggang 3 years pa ito. So ano po yung plano natin sa mga internally displaced persons magmula po ngayon hanggang doon sa 3 taon na sinasabi nyo? Kaya po bang sustinahan ng pamahalaan yung kanilang lahat ng pangangailangan? At saan po manggagaling yung budget?
Yung pong sinasabi natin na 2 to 3 years, ito po sinasabi yung development mismo, no, ng Marawi City. And looking into the situation, tinitignan naman natin, initial din naman nagsabi na tayo, ang unang budget na tinignan natin was 5 billion for the initial help that we will be given to our IDPs. Yung ginawa natin na ngayon ng mga pondo na kinukuha natin, yung bawat government agency natin, meron po tayo sinet aside na mga pondo, depende dun sa role mo, dun sa Bangon Marawi natin na task force. No, meron tayong pondo na binibigay dyan at nilalagay. At we are still exploring. Based on our executive committee meeting last Wednesday, sinabi din ng the Department of Budget and Management na tinitignan din natin baka meron tayong ma-source out sa mga savings ng ating mga departments. No, ito yung mga tinitignan at explore natin para ma-sustain yung ating pagbibigay ng ayuda sa ating mga kababayan na nandun ngayon sa Iligan at yung other pa ng mga areas sa evacuation centers. At bukod doon, meron din tayo na tinitignan pa ng mga programa, kaya meron tayo na rebuilding ng communities, meron din tayong livelihood para sa kanila. So initially, meron nang magagamit ng ating mga kababayan na nag-evacuate dahil sa conflict na ito.
Kasama po ba dun sa psychosocial intervention yung anti-terrorism seminar para imulat po yung ating mga Marawi residents dun sa sa masamang epekto ng terorismo sa bansa at sa kanilang kabuhayan?
Actually, siguro hindi nyo lang po napapansin, no? Hindi lang naman kasi natin dinadub yan na o anti-terrorism na psychosocial intervention ito. But in the psychosocial intervention, what are we looking into is that yung pagtitingin at pagbibigay respeto natin sa kultura ng ating mga kababayan, ng ating mga Maranao. Bukod doon ay yung pagtitingin na rin natin nung sinasabi natin kaya moral recovery, no, yung ating psychosocial intervention. Ito rin yung pagtitingin natin na sinasabi natin na pagmumulat sa mata ng ating mga kabataan ng masamang epekto ng armed conflict. So isa to sa mga programa not only for psychosocial interventions, so that's not only mental health and psychosocial services, but we're doing this in partnership with the Department of Education and also the Philippine Information Agency para meron pa tayong ma-develop na mga materials that we could share for our IDPs para maiwasan na yung ganitong sitwasyon.
So ma'am, sa opinion po ninyo, simpleng armed conflict lang ba yung terorismo?
Hindi po simpleng armed conflict po ito. No, ang sinasabi po natin, hindi lamang po isa yan sa ina-address natin na sitwasyon ngayon. Hindi lang siya pinapangalanan na anti-terrorism. No, meron po tayo iba't ibang programa, kaya po yung mga activities na ginagawa natin para sa ating mga pamilya, may counseling po tayo, meron pong art therapies at iba pa po na mga interventions na ginagawa ng ating mga health workers and ating mga social workers para po dun sa ating mga communities para po maiwasan yung ganitong similar na sitwasyon.
Kasi po sabi ni Presidente, kaya inilunsad yung pag-atake sa inilunsad yung ginagawa nila sa Marawi dahil dun sa terorismo. So siguro po kailangan maimulat naman kahit sa mga bata yung ano ba yung terorismo, di ba? Hindi lang simpleng armed conflict.
What I was saying is hindi lang
last time, kung hindi po ako nagkamali, parang last month, parang yung mga bata, parang nagkaroon sila ng Stockholm Syndrome, di ba? Na parang iniidolo na nila yung mga maute, may mga ganung ulat. Kaya ako naitanong yun.
Actually, ang sinabi ko lang po, hindi lang po dinadub yung, kumbaga ba, hindi lang po pangangalanan siya na anti-terrorism tong kampanya at pagka-counsel natin sa ating mga kabataan. But this is part doon sa ating pagmumulat ng mata ng ating mga kabataan na masamang epekto nito. Hindi lang natin siya pinapangalanan na anti-terrorism move ito. Parang ganun lamang po. Okay. Yung pangalan lamang po ng intervention.
Thank you.
Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hi,
Ma'am, you said that it would take approximately 2 to 3 years to rebuild Marawi. How did we get that estimate po? And what would that rebuilding entail?
Okay, ang sabi ko nga, Pia, this is initial. No? Yung from the outside pa natin nakikita to. Hindi pa naman nakakapasok ang ating assessment team. Remember, hindi pa natin kompleto ang ating post-conflict needs assessment. Ito, initial nakikita natin kasi nung base dun sa ating usapin, ay nakikita natin na hindi maganda kung ire-repair lang. Kung sira-sira yung bahay mo, repair na lang natin. Mas maganda talaga magre-rebuild tayo. At meaning, ang ibig sabihin nito talaga, yung mga sirang mga buildings, sirain na lang yung completely, tatayuan natin ng bago. So yun yung nakita na initial assessment ng mga engineers natin and the architects that we were discussing the rebuilding with. And itong sinasabi pa natin na tuloy na ating mga programa, hopefully kapag nakapagkompleto na tayo ng ating rehabilitation and recovery plan, mas magkakaroon na tayo ng mas malinaw pa na picture yung mga rebuilding na nakikita natin para sa ating sa Marawi City at yung other communities na naapektuhan.
So there's a possibility, ma'am, na mas matagal yung rebuilding once we get the complete picture?
It is possible. Depende sa magiging resulta or even earlier. Depende yon sa ating magiging resulta ng ating assessment ng mga assessment teams natin.
Ma'am, there was a suggestion before na completely iwanan na lang yung Marawi and then rebuild a new city from scratch. So, ano na po ang naging desisyon ng Task Force Marawi on that?
Alam mo, ongoing naman yung ating consultation. No? Kasama sa ating task force are the local government units, ARMM, Lanao del Norte, Lanao del Sur. The governor is part of the task force as well. May mga gusto sana tayo na parang iwanan natin yung mapait nating nakaraan, mag-rebuild tayo ng bago. Pero marami pa rin sa ating mga kababayan na ayaw kong iwanan ang lugar kung saan ako lumaki, kung saan ako nagmulat ng aking mga mata. So these are actually ongoing consultations. Kaya ang ginagawa natin, we go to the IDPs, we go to the families. Ito yung nakikita natin ngayon, ito yung sitwasyon ngayon. Anong gusto nyo? Magkukonsulta kami sa inyo. No, sila ang magde-decide dito. Hindi ito decision ng government. This ongoing ang ating consultations because we would want to rebuild Marawi City better if we are to rebuild it. Kung sa ibang lugar yan, that will be a call of the IDPs, of those affected, kung ano yung nangyari sa lugar na yan.
Okay, questions?
Thank you po.
About Bangon? Laila, you have question? Okay na. Rose Cos.
Hi ma'am, good morning ma'am Mina. Regarding po dun sa transitional shelters, may timeline ba kung kailan na pwedeng patirhan na sa mga displaced residents?
Actually, Rose, ang currently na nangyari doon is yung curing pa lamang ng flooring. Kasi pati yung access roads natin, nung tinignan kasi ng ating mga engineers, pag asfalto ang gagamitin, Cagayan de Oro is the closest area na panggagalingan nito. Pag nag-transport ka from Cagayan de Oro to the transitional shelter site, titigas na. Lalamig na masyado yung asfalto, hindi na natin magagamit. So sinabi, kailangan ngayon semento. Pag sinabi natin semento, may curing to, pinakamabilis na ito mga 2 weeks. No, so currently, nagle-lay down para tayo ng ground. May mga target dates na rin tayo initially na pag-usapan natin sa pangunguna ng ating HUD Seat Chair Del Rosario, na sabi nga niya, hopefully, baka by the end of October, masastart na natin makita itong mga bahay na to. Pero ayaw natin kasi magbigay ng, ng mga hopes sa ating mga kababayan. Depende pa rin ito sa weather, no? Depende pa rin sa magiging epekto pa na iba pang mga sitwasyon. So, ang sinasabi natin, hopefully, by the end of this year, meron na tayo mga pamilya na nakatira na sa ating mga transitional shelters.
And then ma'am, may mga IDPs din po na nagsasuggest na kung po pwede po silang manirahan sa ibang lugar aside from...
Yes, yes.
Ano po ang tugon ng mga local government units? Open po ba silang kupkupin na po yung pong mga Marawi residents?
This is an ongoing discussions with all our local government units kung saan na napupusuan nila na sila ay makakalipat, at hindi lamang kasi yun ang tinitignan natin. Tinitignan natin is how the government could also help them. Magtatayo tayo ng mga permanent shelters kung saan-saan lugar na ito. We will be able to give you a clearer picture kapag natapos na at nakompleto na natin ating rehabilitation and recovery plan. Thank you.
Okay, MPC. Other issue. Pia Ranyada.
For Spokesabella, you said yesterday the president mentioned that he wiretapped certain narco politicians and that he mentioned he might have listened into conversations of Iloilo City Mayor Jed Mabilog. Could we just confirm if it was Jed Mabilog he wiretapped or was it Mayor Parohinog?
That's something that we have to clarify.
And then, sir, when he said all were tapped, did he mean all of the people in his drug list were tapped? What does he mean by all were tapped?
That we also have to clarify.
If he ordered these suspects to be wiretapped, did he wait for a court order before giving this instruction?
I'm sure that being a lawyer, he was operating within bounds of legality.
Okay. And sir, going on to the plan of Senator Antonio Trillanes to file criminal and administrative charges against Asik Mocha Uson, any reaction from the palace?
Well, he's free to do so.
And sir, third question from me. Because the Vice President was again not invited to the LEDAC 2 nights ago, I think. And it's the second time already that she wasn't invited. She was only asked to send a position paper. Does this mean that this will be a long-term policy of the administration to not invite the Vice President to the LEDAC meetings, even if she is a member of the LEDAC?
It simply means that she was not there in the second meeting. Thank you.
But sir, she was not invited. The Malacañang would have invited her. Or
I would
the
not say
NEDA
that's
would-
policy.
So it's not
I
a
would
long-term
not say it's policy.
So it's possible for her to be invited in the future.
All I'm saying is that at this stage, it's not policy. It's not stated.
Okay, because in the law, the Vice President is a member of the LEDAC, and the LEDAC Council is supposed to meet regularly, so,
Correct. So all I'm saying at this stage is that she was not there for the second meeting.
all right.
Okay, thank you, Pia. Joseph Morong, you have question? MPC question? Tina Mendez.
Sir, good morning. Once and for all, can you please...
Once and for all.
Once and for all, can you please clarify the trip of Madam Hanelet Avancenia to New
I
York?
imagine I already said it once and for all yesterday, that she was invited, she received an invitation to attend an event given by, hosted by the First Lady of the United States, and that she went on a personal capacity.
Sir, why on a personal capacity when we know that she is duly recognized as a presidential spouse and that the invitation came from the First Lady of the United States?
They chose to act within those parameters.
Why?
Why not?
But sir, it's an official function as spouse of the
Ma'am,
president.
by the way, I have to call you out on that. I did not say it was a formal invitation. It was an invitation, okay? It was an invitation coming from, I believe it was a side event.
Whether it's a side event or the main event, sir, is an invitation
It was.
from
That's right.
United
Okay,
States.
Yes. But it was not a formal invitation to attend a UNGA.
There was no mention that it was a formal invitation sa UNGA, sir.
Yes.
But by the First Lady of the
So what is your
United
question
States.
now?
What's the difference that you are
It was a
classifying
personal
it as
choice.
a personal trip
Yes, it was.
and not an official one as spouse of the president?
Okay, as far as I know, she was not part of the list of contingent, okay? As far as I know. I may be wrong regarding that matter, but as far as I know, she was not part of the list of the contingent.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Pia Gutierrez.
Sir, following on that, so kung pumunta siya doon on her personal capacity, it means that she paid for everything for the trip.
I assume that she was, that would include, it's just an assumption, that when she went on a personal capacity, I cannot categorically say, but I'm simply assuming that that includes paying for her own fare.
Pero sir, on the video that was taken of her dun sa New York, it was clear that she was being attended to by members of the PSG. So if personal capacity yun, sir, why are there PSG attending to her?
I suppose she was being given port courtesy. Usually people of a certain stature are also given port courtesy without having to spend for them. For example, if you're a cabinet official, you go to the States, the local, the local consulate will usually attend to you.
Is that policy, sir, for...
Ma'am, that's called port courtesy.
even for personal trips?
If you are an official and you're there, usually this is it's usually extended as a courtesy.
So yung mga guards niya, sir, came from the consulate or hindi po nanggaling dito?
I cannot
sir?
answer you on that. We can find out.
Okay, thank you, Pia. Rose Novenaria. Follow-up question, Marisa Lalini.
Sir, good
Yes, ma'am.
morning. Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
just a few clarification. Yung tungkol dun sa PSG, so who paid for their...
I said I will clarify.
Okay, pero sir, clarification then, what particular event did Hanelet Avancenia attend?
As far as I know, it was it was an event hosted by the First Lady
All right.
for other First Ladies.
And sir, yung sinakyan nila na I think it's limousine, who also paid for that, sir?
We can find out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank
It
you.
can have been provided by the consulate.
Sir, when did the First Lady invite Ms. Hanelet?
I don't have the actual invitation on hand, but I have the Viber picture of it. We can find out.
But may we know the details, like did the First Lady call Ms. Hanelet for the invitation? Or?
We can find out
Okay.
about these niceties that you want to find out.
Sir, ano yung Viber picture that...
Of the invitation.
all right, so...
Yes, there
written
is.
invitation. Sir, penge.
Thank you, Maricel. Rose Novenario.
Secret.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, sa 36th session ng United Nations Human Rights Council, nanawagan muli yung European Union sa Philippine government na imbestigahan lahat ng pagpatay, lahat ng naganap na patayan sa panahong isinulong ang drug war mula day 1 po ng Duterte administration. Ano po yung pahayag rito ng
Ma'am,
palasyo?
sa simula't sapol, hindi ba, even without the call of the UN, we have already said that we are looking into those matters.
So ongoing po yung probe.
As far as we can say, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Laila Salaveria.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said yesterday the protests were an opportune time for those in government to hear the voices of the governed. What message did Malacañang take away from the mass actions yesterday?
Well, for the action yesterday, first and foremost, we'd like to thank the public for making the first National Day of Protest generally peaceful and orderly. You know? There were no untoward incidents. And also, most of the discourse was regarding people's issues, and most of it was not regarding personalities. So the focus of yesterday's rallies were a significant development, which sort of elevated the quality of public discourse in the country. You know, in other words, it was aside from a small group that burned effigies, it was basically issue-oriented. So good governance, as we all know it, is a two-way process. And as we demand good leaders, we must likewise show that we're good citizens as well. This message was clearly sent across and heard by everyone. I believe people cooperated along that line. And that's our takeaway.
Okay.
Sir, isa lang.
Yes, ma'am.
There was also a pro-administration or pro-Duterte rally at Plaza Miranda. Were you satisfied with how it was?
I wasn't there, actually. I didn't, you know.
Hindi nyo napanood, sir.
I just saw some clippings of it. I don't know if you're calling me, if you ask me if I satisfied. I know these were, I think people were venting their sympathies.
Follow up.
Yes,
Follow
ma'am.
up. Rose Novenario.
Sir, may mga reports po na hahakot daw po yung mga nagpunta doon sa pro-Duterte rally at may ilan daw pong opisyal ng gobyerno yung naghakot para magkaroon ng warm bodies po doon sa pro-Duterte rally. Ano po yung masasabi natin dito?
Like I said, I'm not familiar with the process that happened.
Follow up or other issue?
Yes, ma'am.
Pia?
Yusek, the palace has also held the narrative that it's only a small group of Filipinos who oppose the drug war and a majority support it. The protest yesterday where thousands showed
The
up,
narrative,
does this
by the way,
challenge the narrative?
excuse me, the narrative, by the way, is supported by the survey, right? That most people, I think about a high of 82% as of the last, most people in general understand and sympathize with the moves of the government. So I think it's not just a narrative, it's actually based on fact.
So does the palace limit itself to surveys and listening to the public and knowing the sentiment of the public? How about protests like yesterday? Doesn't the palace also consider the show of forces of protesters
course,
as a
it
way
was-
to gauge public sentiment about the drug war?
No, in fact, it was called the National Day of Protest. In other words, the palace recognizes that there are different voices, and thus and it's quite open. Again, and even in fact, I think we need to appreciate the fact that the president himself said to the police, to the armed forces, to distance themselves. In other words, to let people express themselves. I think that's one of the things we can actually take away.
So the palace considers the message of the protesters yesterday. They were demanding for a stop to the drug war, or at least to put an end to impunity of police forces.
To put an end to?
Supposed impunity
To put an
of
end to?
police forces.
Impunity. Like I said, in the response, even before the UN and even before yesterday's meetings, there's already been investigations going on. These matters are being looked into. The president, the administration is not just waiting. It's not just in a reactive mode. It's actually in quite a proactive mode. It's a little bit slow, of course, considering they're dealing with the bureaucracies. But there is a healthy response to these matters.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Thank
Pia Gutierrez.
Sir, can we get more details on Secretary Salalima's offer to resign from the cabinet, sir?
I think it was given 2 weeks ago, like you said, and I think the key word there was delicadeza, yeah, delicadeza, and but like you said, he used to work with another IT company. Okay, so to avoid, I think to avoid being misconstrued, I think he submitted his resignation.
So, bakit ngayon lang, sir? Considering na
Maybe the
ilang months na siya.
revelation, maybe he was enlightened recently.
Pero si President Duterte, is he inclined to accept his resignation?
I think he said he did
He
yesterday.
did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he said that in Marawi.
Okay.
Kay Ma'am Marasigan, Ma'am, na-cancel yung National Earthquake Drill kahapon. So, can we get details kung kailan and ano pang details?
Yeah, it was postponed, no? Yeah, yesterday, kasi there was a call for no classes to work sa government. So we rescheduled it to ensure the maximum participation of our students and our communities. It is set to be done on September 27, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The pilot area would still be in Bacoor City for the nationwide drill. And there are also other communities which will be doing the drill. Remember, this is a nationwide activity, so there will be other areas in the entire country which will be doing the drill.
Okay,
Okay,
thank
before
you.
we end,
Okay, Tina Mendez.
yes,
Sir,
ma'am.
pahapon.
Yes,
Sir,
ma'am.
sabi ng Pangulo kahapon kagabi sa Marawi, ililift niya yung martial law in Mindanao pagka tapos na yung clearing operations.
Opo.
Sir, what's your understanding? Malilift na ba ito bago sa hanggang extended deadline ng December 31, even before that, pwedeng i-lift ng Pangulo?
Ma'am, I would rather not speculate on when. But the President himself has said that that is his intention. So I'd like to go by his intention.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Tina.
I'd just like to end with on the Horacio Castillo III hazing. We strongly condemn the senseless killing of Horacio Castillo III. Government agencies are now conducting an investigation on the matter. End of statement. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Thank you, OCD Spokesperson Romina Marasigan. Back to our main studio sa PTV and Radyo Pilipinas.